My wife's lover called me while I was unpacking my duffel bag in our bedroom, 3 days after I'd returned from 8 months in Afghanistan. I thought it was a wrong number at first. Then he said her name, Michelle, and everything I thought I knew about my marriage disintegrated in the next 60 seconds. I'd been home 72 hours. 72 hours of noticing Michelle's distance, the way she flinched when I touched her, how she kept her phone face down on every surface. I told myself it was adjustment, mine and hers. 8 months apart changes people. But something gnawed at my gut, that same instinct that kept me alive in Helmand Province. The voice on the phone belonged to Derek Carlson. He worked at the bank where Michelle was a loan officer. I'd met him twice at company events, remembered him as forgettable. Average height, receding hairline, soft handshake. The kind of man who'd never spent a night sleeping in body armor. "She told me you guys were separated," he said. His voice cracked. "She said you were getting divorced when you got back. I thought, I need you to know I didn't pursue a married woman intentionally." I sat down on the bed Michelle and I had shared for 6 years. The same bed I'd thought about every night in that plywood hooch in Afghanistan. The wedding photo on the dresser showed us at Lake Tahoe, both of us laughing, her in that white sundress she wore on our honeymoon. That version of us felt like different people now. "How long?" I asked. My voice came out flat, controlled. "Infantry training. You don't panic under fire." 4 months. Started in March. March. I'd been 2 months into deployment, still writing her letters every week, spending my limited internet time on video calls where she smiled and said she missed me, said she was counting days. Does anyone else know? Her sister Emily knows, and probably some people at work. He paused. "Look, I'm calling because I found out she's been telling you I'm just a friend. She's still sleeping with me, last night actually, while you were at your parents' house with your daughter." Savannah. Our 7-year-old daughter had stayed with my parents last night so Michelle and I could have couple time. I'd suggested we go to that Italian place she loved. She said she was too tired, had a headache. I'd fallen asleep on the couch watching a basketball game. "Why are you telling me this?" I asked. "Because my conscience is killing me, and because she's been stringing me along too. She told me she'd leave you. Now she's saying she needs more time. I realized she's playing both of us." He took a breath. "You seem like a decent guy. You deserve to know what's happening in your own house." After he hung up, I sat in the silence of my bedroom, our bedroom, for 20 minutes. The uniform I'd worn home hung in the closet. My deployment bag sat half unpacked. On the nightstand, the book Michelle had sent me in a care package, inscribed, "Counting the days until you're home safe." I heard her car pull into the driveway, watched through the window as she checked her phone before getting out, saw the small smile that crossed her face as she typed something. The garage door opened. Her heels clicked across the kitchen floor. "Jake, you home?" Her voice sounded cheerful, performative. I walked downstairs. She stood at the kitchen island, still in her work clothes. That navy dress, she said, made her feel professional. Her makeup was fresh. She'd reapplied it recently. "We need to talk," I said. Something flickered across her face. Fear, maybe. Or calculation. "About what?" "Derek Carlson called me." The color drained from her face. For 3 seconds, maybe 4, she looked like she might deny it. Then her shoulders sagged. "Jake, I can explain." "Don't." I held up my hand. "I don't want explanations. I just want to know if it's true." She nodded slowly, started crying. "It just happened. I was lonely. You were gone. He was there." 4 months, I said. "That's not just happened. That's a choice you made every day for 4 months." "I was going to end it, I swear. When you came home, I was going to—" "You were with him last night, while I was at my parents' house with our daughter." Her face crumpled. "How did you—" "Doesn't matter." I walked to the window, looked out at the front yard I'd mowed 100 times, the driveway where Savannah learned to ride her bike. "I'm staying at my parents' tonight. We'll figure out the details tomorrow." "Jake, please, can we just talk about this? I made a mistake. I love you." I turned to face her. You don't cheat on someone you love for 4 months. You don't sleep with someone else the week your husband comes home from a combat deployment. My voice stayed level, but my hands were shaking. I shoved them in my pockets. I'm done, Michelle. Whatever this was, it's over. I grabbed my keys and walked out. Heard her crying behind me but didn't turn around. Couldn't. Because part of me wanted to stay. Wanted to believe this was salvageable. But I'd learned something in Afghanistan about trusting your instincts. When something's compromised, when the foundation's cracked, you don't build on it. You start over. Driving to my parents' house in Riverside, I called my buddy Marcus Chen. We'd served together, 2 tours. He'd gotten out a year before me, was working construction now. Brother, what's up? His voice was warm, familiar. I need a place to crash for a while, I said. Just found out Michelle's been cheating. The line went quiet for a moment. I'm in San Diego, got a spare room. It's yours as long as you need it. Thanks, man. I'll head down tomorrow. Jake, Marcus said, you're going to get through this. You've survived worse. But I wasn't sure that was true. Combat had rules, clear enemies, defined objectives. This felt different. Like losing a war I didn't know I was fighting. My father had been a Marine too. Vietnam, 1968-69. He didn't talk much about it, but when I showed up at their door at 11 p.m., he took one look at my face and said, I'll get the bourbon. We sat on the back porch while I told him everything. Mom had taken Savannah to bed an hour earlier. Dad listened without interrupting, the way he'd taught me to listen to intelligence briefings. First thing Monday, he said when I finished. You get a lawyer, not just any lawyer, a good one who handles military divorces. California's a community property state, but your deployment pay has some protections. I don't even know where to start. I do. He pulled out his phone. Remember Tom Bradley? Served with me in '69, became a family law attorney. His son Jeff runs the practice now. Handles a lot of veteran cases. He texted while he talked. I'm setting you up for Monday morning. Sunday, I moved into Marcus's spare bedroom in San Diego. The place was small, a 2-bedroom apartment in North Park, but it felt cleaner than my own house had in the last 3 days. Marcus helped me unload the truck I'd rented. What's your plan? He asked, handing me a beer from his fridge. Lawyer Monday. Then I need a job. I'd been thinking about it during the 2-hour drive. My terminal leave ends in 3 weeks. After that, I'm officially a civilian. You thought about what kind of work? Not really. Infantry skills don't translate well to civilian life. I'd spent 12 years in the Marines, good at leading men under fire, not so good at office politics. You're wrong about that, Marcus said. Leadership, logistics, staying cool under pressure, that translates everywhere. I started in construction last year. My boss is always looking for guys who show up on time and don't quit when things get hard. I don't know anything about construction. You can learn. Everyone starts somewhere. He leaned back in his chair. Besides, it's good work, physical. Keeps your head straight while you sort out the rest of your life. Monday morning, Jeff Bradley's office was in downtown San Diego, 12th floor with a view of the harbor. He was about 40, former Navy JAG, and his handshake was firm. Your father's a good man, he said. Told me a bit about your situation. Let's go through everything. I laid it out. The phone call, the affair, Michelle's admission. Jeff took notes, asked questions. How long had we been married? Did we own property? What about debts? Savannah's custody arrangements. You're in a decent position legally, he said after 40 minutes. You've been the stable provider. Deployments documented. Her infidelity is relevant in California for custody considerations, though not for property division. We'll file for dissolution. Request primary physical custody of your daughter. What are my chances? Good. Military parent with clean record, stable income potential, and a spouse who committed adultery during deployment. Judges look favorably on that. He paused. But Jake, I'll be straight with you. This is going to hurt financially. You're looking at splitting assets, possibly spousal support depending on her income. It's going to take months. I don't care about the money, I said. I care about Savannah. Then we'll prioritize that. But you need income. What's your employment situation? Friend offered me construction work, starting next week. Jeff nodded. Take it. Steady employment looks good for custody. And Jake, document everything. Every communication with Michelle, every visit with your daughter. Keep records. That afternoon, Marcus introduced me to his boss, Frank Delgado. Frank ran a mid-sized construction company specializing in commercial renovations. He was 60, thick-armed, with a handshake that could crush concrete. Marcus says you're solid, Frank said. That true? I'm a hard worker. I show up on time. I don't quit. You know anything about construction? No, sir, but I learn fast. Frank studied me for a moment. You were infantry? 12 years, 3 deployments. Then you know how to follow orders and solve problems. That's half the job. Rest you can learn. He extended his hand. 7 a.m. tomorrow. Don't be late. I wasn't. Showed up at 6:45, work boots I'd bought the night before still stiff on my feet. Marcus handed me a hard hat and gloves. Today you're learning demo, he said. We're gutting an office building in La Jolla. It's hard work, but simple. Tear out old walls, haul debris, don't hurt yourself. The physical labor felt good. Therapeutic. Every swing of the sledgehammer was controlled anger, directed purpose. By lunch, my hands were blistered despite the gloves. By end of day, my whole body ached. But my mind was quieter than it had been in a week. Wednesday, Michelle called. I let it go to voicemail. She called again Thursday. Friday, she texted, "We need to talk about Savannah. You can't just disappear." I met her Saturday morning at a Starbucks in Riverside, neutral ground. She looked tired, thinner, dark circles under her eyes. You haven't seen Savannah all week, she said. I've been getting settled, and you haven't exactly made it easy. She's asking about you, asking why you're not home. What did you tell her? Michelle looked down at her coffee. That you're helping a friend with work stuff, that you'll be back soon. Don't lie to her. She deserves better than that. So what should I tell her? That her father abandoned us? The accusation stung because part of me felt that way, like I was abandoning Savannah, even though I knew I wasn't. Tell her the truth, that mom and dad are having problems and need some time apart, that I love her and will see her soon. The lawyer you hired wants primary custody. Her voice hardened. You're trying to take her from me. I'm trying to give her stability. There's a difference. Because of one mistake? 4 months isn't a mistake, Michelle. It's a pattern. I kept my voice low, aware of people around us. You made choices. Now we both deal with consequences. Her eyes welled up. I never wanted this. Neither did I. But here we are. I saw Savannah that afternoon at my parents' house. She ran to me, threw her arms around my neck. Daddy, where were you? I've been working, sweetheart, but I'm here now. We played in the backyard, the way we used to before deployment. She showed me a drawing she'd made at school, our family, stick figures holding hands in front of a house. Looking at it hurt. Mommy's sad a lot, Savannah said while we were coloring. She is? She cries at night. I can hear her. I pulled Savannah close. Sometimes grown-ups go through hard times, but it's not your fault, okay? Mom and Dad both love you very much. That night, back at Marcus's apartment, I sat on the balcony and called my sister in Oregon. Amy was 3 years older, a therapist, and the only person who could talk straight to me without setting me off. How are you holding up? She asked. Some days better than others. That's normal. Grief isn't linear. She paused. Are you taking care of yourself? Eating? Sleeping? Working construction now. That helps. Good. You need structure. She knew me well enough to understand that idle time was dangerous for me. What about therapy? Have you thought about talking to someone? I don't need therapy. Jake, you just came back from Afghanistan and walked into your wife's affair. You need to process that. I'm processing fine. Stuffing it down isn't processing. Her voice gentled. Look, I'm not pushing. Just saying the offer's there when you're ready. VA has resources. After we hung up, I realized she was right about one thing. I wasn't sleeping well. Kept waking up at 0300, that internal clock from deployment still running. But the insomnia wasn't about Afghanistan anymore. It was about coming home to discover the person you trusted most had betrayed you while you were protecting everything she claimed to love. That was somehow worse than anything I'd faced overseas. 3 months in, I got promoted to crew lead. Frank Delgado called me into his office on a Friday afternoon, March sunlight streaming through the windows of his downtown office. "You've been here 12 weeks, he said. "Haven't missed a day, haven't complained. Other guys respect you." He slid a folder across his desk. "I'm putting you in charge of the Oceanside project. Small commercial renovation, 2-month timeline. You'll have a crew of 4. Think you can handle it?" "Yes, sir." "Stop calling me sir. This isn't the Marines." But he smiled when he said it. "Pay bump starts Monday. And Jake, you're good at this. Keep it up." The Oceanside project was a medical office building, complete gut and renovation. I studied the plans like I used to study mission briefs, walked the site a dozen times before we started. Realized construction wasn't that different from military logistics. People, materials, timeline, all coordinated toward a single objective. My crew was solid. 2 were veterans like me, 1 Army, 1 Navy. The 4th was a kid fresh out of trade school, eager to prove himself. We finished the Oceanside job 3 days ahead of schedule and under budget. Frank called me into his office again. "Client's thrilled. Word's getting around that I've got a new crew lead who actually delivers." He leaned back in his chair. "How'd you feel about project management? You keep performing like this, there's room to move up." "I'd be interested." "Good. Start thinking about contractor's license. Company will help with the courses." The divorce was grinding through the system. Michelle had hired an attorney, contested the custody arrangement I'd requested. We'd been to 2 mediation sessions, both failures. She wanted equal time with Savannah. I wanted primary custody with visitation for Michelle. The judge ordered a custody evaluation. The evaluator, Dr. Patricia Wells, interviewed both of us separately, interviewed Savannah, visited both homes. She was in her 50s, no nonsense, and seemed to see through Michelle's performance. "Your daughter feels secure with you," Dr. Wells told me in our final session. "She talks about your consistency, your reliability. With her mother, she mentioned uncertainty, tension." "Michelle loves Savannah," I said. "I'm not questioning that." "Love isn't the same as stability. Children need both." She made a note. "My recommendation will support your custody proposal. Primary physical custody with you, regular visitation for mother." The preliminary hearing was set for June. Jeff Bradley was optimistic. "We've got the evaluation, your employment records, character references from your command. Michelle's attorney knows they're fighting uphill." Meanwhile, I'd started taking project management courses at San Diego Community College, night classes twice a week. Marcus had moved out in April, got back together with his ex-girlfriend, moved in with her in Mission Valley. I took over the lease on the North Park apartment. It was small, but it was mine. Savannah stayed with me every other week under the temporary arrangement. We established routines: breakfast together before school, homework at the kitchen table, bedtime stories. She seemed happier, more relaxed than she'd been before deployment. Or maybe I was just paying closer attention now. One Saturday in May, Savannah and I were at the San Diego Zoo when she said, "Daddy, are you and Mommy getting divorced?" We were watching the elephants. I knelt down so we were eye level. "Yeah, sweetheart, we are." "Because she has a boyfriend?" My chest tightened. "You know about that?" I heard her on the phone. She calls him when she thinks I'm asleep. Savannah looked at the elephants, not at me. "Is it my fault?" "No. No, baby. It's not your fault at all." I pulled her close. Sometimes grown-ups make mistakes. Sometimes marriages don't work out. But Mom and I both love you more than anything. That never changes. "Will I still see Mommy?" "Of course. You'll see both of us. Just might be different schedules than before. She nodded against my shoulder. I like staying at your apartment. You make better pancakes. I laughed despite everything. Thanks, kid. Through my sister, Amy, I'd started seeing a therapist named Dr. Robert Kim, Vietnam vet, specialized in military transitions. I'd resisted at first, but Amy had worn me down. You don't have to talk about feelings, she'd said. Just talk about what happened. Get it out of your head. Dr. Kim's office was in Hillcrest, decorated with photographs from his service. First session, he said, I'm not here to fix you. You're not broken. But transitions are hard. Coming home from war is hard. Divorce is hard. Doing both at once is brutal. So we'll talk through it. We met every other week. He was right. It helped to talk through the deployment, the affair, the divorce. Helped to name the anger and betrayal and grief. Didn't make it disappear, but made it manageable. In June, I heard through mutual friends that Michelle and Derek had broken up. She'd apparently wanted more commitment than he was willing to give. Karma, maybe. I felt nothing when I heard the news. Not satisfaction, not pity, just indifference. The preliminary custody hearing went as Jeff predicted. Judge reviewed Dr. Wells's evaluation, heard testimony from both sides. Michelle cried on the stand, talked about being a devoted mother. But when the judge asked about stability and routine, she couldn't answer as confidently as I could. Primary physical custody is awarded to the father, the judge ruled. Mother will have alternating weekends and one weeknight dinner. We'll revisit in 6 months. Michelle's face collapsed. Her attorney put a hand on her arm. I felt bad for her, genuinely. But I also felt relief. Savannah would have stability. That's what mattered. Outside the courthouse, Jeff shook my hand. Good work in there. You stayed calm, presented well. Judge appreciated that. What happens now? Asset division, final settlement. Probably another 2 months. But the hard part's over. Michelle caught me in the parking lot. You took my daughter from me. The judge gave her what she needs. Stability. Routine. A parent who's present. I'm present. I've always been present. Were you present when you were sleeping with Derek? Were you present when I was in Afghanistan and you were lying to me every day? I kept my voice low, controlled. You made choices, Michelle. So did I. The difference is I chose Savannah. You chose yourself. I walked away before she could respond. Got in my truck and drove back to San Diego. Called Marcus on the way. Met him for dinner at a taco shop in Mission Valley. How'd it go? He asked. Got custody. That's great, man. Really great. He raised his beer. To new chapters. I clinked my bottle against his. To new chapters. And for the first time in 6 months, I felt like maybe I was actually going to be okay. By August, I'd managed 3 more projects for Delgado Construction, each one coming in on time and under budget. Frank started routing bigger jobs to me, a restaurant renovation in Carlsbad, an office complex in Mission Valley. The work was steady, the money decent, and I was building something tangible every day. You've got a knack for this, Frank said over lunch one Thursday. We were at the Mission Valley site, eating sandwiches in his truck. Ever think about going solo? Starting your own company? Can't say it's crossed my mind. Well, think about it. You've got the skills, the discipline. I'd even send work your way for projects I'm too busy for. He balled up his sandwich wrapper. You're 36, Jake. Time to build equity for yourself, not just for me. That night, I pulled up the requirements for a general contractor's license. Needed 4 years of experience. I had 12 in the military plus almost a year with Frank. Needed to pass an exam. Needed insurance, bonding, business structure. It felt overwhelming until I broke it down into steps, the way I'd learned to break down mission planning. Step 1, pass the exam. Step 2, get licensed. Step 3, set up the business. Step 4, land the first contract. I registered for the contractor's exam in October, studied at night after Savannah went to bed. The material came easier than I expected. Most of it was common sense, project management, basic math. Passed on my first attempt. November, I filed paperwork for Morrison Construction LLC. Got a business license, general liability insurance, contractor's bond. Set up a bank account. Designed business cards at a print shop in North Park. The whole process took 3 weeks and cost about $8,000. Most of my savings from the last year. Frank was true to his word. Got a residential addition in Encinitas, he said in December. Client wants it done by March. I'm stretched too thin with commercial work. It's yours if you want it. $60,000 job. I want it. Then let's draw up a subcontract. My first project under my own name. I hired 2 guys I'd worked with under Frank, brought in an electrician and plumber I trusted. We broke ground in January. The clients, an older couple named the Hendersons, wanted to add a master suite to their beach house. I walked them through every decision, showed them material options, kept them updated daily. You're so much more communicative than our last contractor, Mrs. Henderson said during a mid-project walkthrough. We always know what's happening. That's the idea, I said. No surprises. We finished 3 days ahead of schedule. The Hendersons were thrilled, referred me to their neighbors. By March, I had 2 more residential projects lined up and a commercial bathroom renovation for a coffee shop in Ocean Beach. Savannah was thriving. Second-grade report card showed A's and B's. Her teacher said she was engaged, confident, social. The weekly dinners with Michelle had stabilized into routine. Michelle had moved to a smaller apartment in Riverside, started working at a different bank. We were civil at exchanges, focused on Savannah. I'd started dating again, nothing serious. Met a woman named Lauren at a coffee shop where I was reviewing project plans. She was a nurse at Scripps Mercy, divorced, no kids. We went to dinner a few times, caught a Padres game. It was nice but casual. I wasn't ready for serious yet. Marcus got engaged to his girlfriend in April, asked me to be his best man. You helped me through my worst year, he said. Want you there for my best one. The wedding was in June, small ceremony in Balboa Park. Standing up there as his best man, watching him marry someone who actually deserved him, I felt genuinely happy. Hopeful, even. Like maybe the second chapter of life could be better than the first. My company was growing. By summer, I had steady work booked through the end of the year, hired a part-time office manager to handle scheduling and invoicing, brought on another full-time carpenter, leased a small office in Kearney Mesa, nothing fancy but professional. Revenue was good enough that I moved out of the North Park apartment in August, found a 3-bedroom house to rent in Claremont. Savannah got her own room, decorated it with her help. Purple walls, bookshelves, a desk for homework. The first night she stayed over, she said, "This feels like home, Daddy." That was everything. Through the veteran network, I'd started volunteering with a transition program at Camp Pendleton, helping active duty Marines prepare for civilian life. Taught a workshop on construction careers, talked about my own transition. 20 guys showed up, asked good questions. Felt good to give back. One of them, a corporal named Jimmy Rodriguez, approached me after. "Would you ever hire someone straight out? I'm getting out in 2 months. I want to learn a trade." "You work hard?" "Yes, sir." "Don't call me sir. And yeah, come see me when you're out. I'll give you a shot." Jimmy started in September. Reminded me of myself a year and a half earlier. Eager, disciplined, bit lost. I taught him the same way Marcus and Frank had taught me. By October, he was running small jobs on his own. Meanwhile, I heard through mutual friends that Michelle had been let go from her job at the new bank. Something about performance issues, attendance. She'd also been dating someone new, but it hadn't worked out. Her sister Emily, who'd somehow become Switzerland in all of this, mentioned Michelle was struggling financially, had moved back in with her parents. Part of me felt bad for her. But I also knew you make your bed and lie in it. She'd made choices that blew up her life. I'd made choices that built a new one. That was the difference. The final divorce decree came through in November, almost 2 years after I'd come home from Afghanistan. Property was divided, settlement was signed. Michelle got her car and half the equity from the house we'd sold. I got my truck, my business, and primary custody of Savannah. Jeff Bradley shook my hand outside the courthouse. Rarely see outcomes this clean. You should be proud. Just glad it's over. Not over. Finished. There's a difference. He smiled. Now go build something great. That's exactly what I plan to do. Spring 2026. 3 years after that phone call from Derek Carlson, I stood in the kitchen of the house I'd just closed on in Poway. 4 bedrooms, quarter-acre lot, top-rated school district. Savannah's forever home, if I had anything to say about it. She was at the empty house with me, running through rooms and claiming one with a window seat for her bedroom. "Can I paint it purple again?" she called down the hallway. "Whatever you want, kiddo." Morrison Construction had grown into a 15-person operation. We'd done 80 projects in the last 2 years, everything from kitchen renovations to commercial build-outs. Revenue was solid, reputation was better. Frank Delgado referred work to me regularly, said I'd surpassed him in quality. I'd hired 3 more veterans, gave them the same shot I'd gotten. 2 were thriving. 1 struggled with PTSD, but we worked through it. Flexible schedule, therapy resources, patience. He was getting better, doing good work. Savannah was doing great. 10 years old now, confident and happy. Still saw her mother every other weekend, but she'd told me more than once she was glad she lived with me. "You're always there," she said. "I can count on you." That meant everything. Lauren and I had gotten serious over the last year. She'd met Savannah in December, and they'd clicked immediately. We weren't rushing anything. Both of us had been through divorces, knew better than to move too fast. But it felt right, stable, built on honesty instead of illusion. I was sitting on the back patio of the new house one evening in May when Emily called, Michelle's sister. We'd stayed cordial. She'd always tried to be fair, even during the worst of it. "Hey Jake, how are you?" "Good, just moved into the new place." "How are things?" "Good, good." She paused. "Listen, I wanted to give you a heads up. Michelle's going through a rough time. Lost another job. Dating situation's not great. She's been asking about you." "Asking what?" "How you're doing, if you're seeing anyone. She saw something on Facebook about your company." Another pause. "I think she regrets everything. Wants to reach out but doesn't know how." I watched Savannah through the window, unpacking books in her new room. "I appreciate you telling me. But Emily, that chapter's closed. I'm not going back there." "I know. I just thought you should know." After we hung up, I thought about Michelle for the first time in months. Wondered if she was okay. Hoped she was finding her way. But I didn't feel pulled to reach out. Didn't feel any desire to reconnect or help. That part of my heart had closed permanently. In June, I spoke at a Marine Corps transition seminar at Miramar. Talked about my journey, coming home, the betrayal, rock bottom, rebuilding. 20 minutes about how the skills that made you good in combat made you good in business. Leadership, discipline, mission focus, improvisation. A young sergeant approached me after, maybe 25 years old. "Sir, that hit hard. I'm getting out in 4 months, scared out of my mind." "Don't call me sir," I said automatically. "And being scared is normal. Use it. Fear means you care about succeeding. Did you ever think you wouldn't make it?" Every day for the first 6 months. Then I stopped thinking and started doing. That's the secret. Motion creates momentum. Just take the next right step. He shook my hand, thanked me. I gave him my card, told him to call if he needed advice. Another seed planted. That night I took Savannah and Lauren to dinner at a steakhouse overlooking the harbor. Savannah ordered shrimp, her favorite. Lauren and I split a bottle of wine. We talked about the future. Savannah's school year, upcoming projects, Lauren's promotion at the hospital. "I'm proud of you," Lauren said later, after we'd dropped Savannah at home and were sitting in her living room. "What you've built, who you've become. Couldn't have done it without good people. Marcus, Frank, you. You did the work, Jake. You chose to rebuild instead of staying broken." I thought about that word. Broken. 3 years ago, I'd felt shattered. Now I felt whole. Not because everything was perfect, but because I'd learned I could survive imperfect. Could take the worst day of my life and use it as foundation for better years. In August, Michelle reached out directly. Text message. Hey, know it's been a while. Would you be willing to talk? Coffee sometime? I showed the message to Dr. Kim during our now monthly check-in. What do you think it means? He asked. She wants closure, or absolution. Maybe thinks we can be friends. Do you want that? No. I'm not angry at her anymore. But I'm not interested in being in her life beyond co-parenting Savannah. That door's closed. Then tell her that, honestly but kindly. I texted back. I think it's best we keep our relationship focused on Savannah. I wish you well, but I'm not interested in reconnecting personally. Take care. She responded. I understand. I'm sorry for everything. I didn't reply. Didn't need to. That chapter was finished. Fall 2026, Morrison Construction bid on a major project, a mixed-use development in Carlsbad. 3 buildings, 18-month timeline. We were competing against companies 3 times our size, but our portfolio was strong, our reputation solid, our bid competitive. We got the contract in October. $1 million project, biggest thing I'd ever tackled. Hired a project manager to help, brought on more crew. It was scary and exhilarating and exactly the kind of challenge I needed. Savannah's 11th birthday was in November. We threw a party at the new house, her friends from school, my employees and their families, Marcus and his wife. Lauren helped coordinate everything. The backyard was full of kids playing, adults talking, good food on the grill. Watching it all, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. Genuine, settled peace. Not the absence of problems. I had plenty of those. But the confidence that I could handle whatever came, that I'd built something solid that wouldn't crumble at the first sign of trouble. That night, after everyone left and Savannah was asleep, I sat in my office and looked at the photo on my desk. Marines, Afghanistan, 2023. 8 guys, full combat gear, dust and exhaustion on every face. Only one of those guys had known what was waiting for him back home. But that version of me, the one who'd answered Derek Carlson's call with a whole life unraveling, he'd survived. More than survived. He'd rebuilt into something stronger. I thought about the young Marines I mentored now, the ones terrified of leaving service. I wanted to tell them what I'd learned. The military teaches you to be unbreakable. Civilian life teaches you what to do after you break. Both lessons matter. Both make you who you become. My phone buzzed. Lauren. Great party. Savannah seems so happy. You're a good dad. Me. Learning as I go. Thanks for being part of it. Lauren. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else. I smiled, set the phone down, turned off the office light. Tomorrow I'd start framing on the Carlsbad project. Next week I'd take Savannah camping in Anza Borrego, just the 2 of us. In December, Lauren and I were talking about moving in together, tentative timeline next summer. The future wasn't certain, never was, but it was mine, built on my terms, with people who deserved to be in it. That was victory enough.